What is good, everybody? It's Kev the Barber with another classic. Today I will be talking about barber terminology. It's been a question I've been getting a lot of the time, so I've decided, hey, why not we answer this question before I go cut hair. Hopefully I can upload it before I go cut hair, and that would be at 3:30. So we'll see if I actually get to upload this. First thing I want to say about barber terminology, we're going to be focusing on fades, as you see in the title. Haircuts are classified in two different ways. Two different classifications. What am I saying? Two specifications used to describe haircuts, which is the different type of style and the different type of fade. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna define are the fades, because that is the purpose of this video. Low, mid, and high fades. So that's defined by the temple T-point, which is right here on the side of the head, which is the L, or the box, or whichever you call it, is right here on the side. Anything below that is a low fade. Anything at that point is a mid fade. Anything above that point is a high fade. Now, with these different types of directional descriptions, there are variations as well, especially when we get to tapers and fades on the neck and stuff. So when it comes to a low fade, there's also a drop fade. A drop fade is when the fade curves around the ear and drops below to go with the shape of the head. It's typically used to define that curve in the back. You can have a low drop fade, you can have a mid drop fade. I've never heard of a high drop fade. I guess it could be used, but conceptually it looks disgusting to me. So, and we have a low taper fade, which would be anything below that, which is the side of the fade, the side of the head. So if you look at my videos, I call something a taper, right? Generally on the East Coast, we call tempo fades tapers, which just means fade. If you Google taper, what is the definition of taper? It's just a fade or transition. Another fade we have is a burst fade, which is one of those new fades that not a lot of people know or use. It's basically a fade that expands from a circle, right? So you can have it around your ear, you can have it at the temple, you can have it in the neck, you can have it on the top of your head, like just fade it out. It's all about the direction. So now we're going to be talking about styles. Styles from the 80s and 90s, which is a high top, made famous by like Kid and Play and Tupac's Juice Cut, all these different, like in the 90s it was pretty poppin'. Throughout the mid-20s it was waves. Now we're back to high tops, and it's always going all over the place. Who knows what's next? Maybe you can come up with the next haircut, you never know. So a high top is basically hair on the top of the head. It's top on the top, it's high on the top. It's really pretty self-explanatory. Then we have a box cut, which is the same thing as a high top, just boxed off. It's like a square and a rectangle. A rectangle is not a square, but a square is a rectangle. A high top is not a box cut. No, a high top is not a box cut, but a box cut is still a high top. Next we have an afro. Afros are usually tapered off, or you can have an afro top, which is just curved on the top. It's surely something that resembles an afro. You know what an afro is. Next we have wave cuts, which is created by brushing the hairs and keeping it laid down and moist. I know 360 GZ is basically a specialist at that. You can look at some of his videos if you actually want to have waves or something like that. I watch that man all the time. Another variation to these is bald. All you need to do is just add a bald at the end of it. Low bald fade, in the middle of it. Low bald fade, mid bald fade, high bald fade. All these bald fades, or skin. Some people say skin. Like I said, it's the difference between where you're from. Some of these terminologies are definitely regionally based. Then we have those that lack fades, dark Caesars and light Caesars. These two are literally what is described as. I don't know what the Caesar comes from. If you know, you can let us know in the comments below. I don't know what that is. Either way, no matter where you're from, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what an all even is, or what a dark Caesar is, or a light Caesar are all pretty much the same thing. Next we have an undercut, which is kind of like a high top, kind of like a box, well, probably not a box cut. It's a high top without the fade connecting the side of the hair to the top of the head. Now when we go through the haircut, the fades and the styles, if you put them together, you get more specific. So if you want a high top, but you want a mid fade as well, like high mid fade. If you want a high top and you don't want a mid fade, just a high top even on the sides. If you want a mohawk, I don't even think I mentioned mohawks. It's basically hair on the middle of the head. Or we have fades, right? That are defined by the design. Featheristic. How many of you guys have heard of that? That fade is crazy. Or we have the high-low fade. How did I forget about the high-low fade? We get more eclectic when we take in celebrities. Like I said, celebrities, sports, all these different people, actors, athletes, they all define barbering. They have a huge impact on what people like. As of recent, we have like the Odell Beckham, which is pretty famous, probably the most famous haircut at the moment. We have the D'Angelo Russell. I don't know how he got a haircut, but it's basically the Odell Beckham without the design on the neck. South of France, which was made famous by Usher. And we have the Nas, I guess. I don't know if anybody says the Nas, but Nas has a signature haircut that is being marketed by Bevel right now. When it comes to these terminologies, these haircuts, they come and go. And you could just follow the times, which would be one level of doing things, but the next level of doing things would be to change the times. Be the catalyst, be the active person who's doing different things rather than doing the norm. People who just follow what's next will always be followers. People who are looking for what's next will definitely be leaders in the long term. And you can let me know if I forgot anything or if there's any new things out or anything like that. The barbers have to stay in tune with the times because people get haircuts that are famous or are fad at the moment, and you want to be able to provide that service. Comment what you think, any haircuts I missed, anything you want me to expound on. Leave a comment down below, leave a like. Thanks for watching. Kev the Barber out of here. See y'all later.